That's a team that's never going to have the refs against them.
This is true.
I see you snap the opposing quarterback's femur in half, but since you're on the Patriots, I'm going to look away and instead pee into the wind as if that matters. Like, great work, referees. Great work.
Oh. What's up, chat?
Hi, everybody.
Oh, hello. Hey.
Hi.
Oh, we're starting off great.
Yep.
Starting off great.
Haven't even started recording yet. It's great. It's fine. It's perfect.
The dream.
The dream. All right.
You know what? Nobody that hears me could possibly disagree with me, so it doesn't matter.
He's got a point. Like, I can't disagree with it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I mean, but hey, at least you didn't lose 25-3 to the Giants. Yeah. I don't want
If you tripled your score and the other score, then you get ours though. So if you think about if you put it like in a fraction, it almost reduces to be about the same score. So it was still pretty terrible on our part.
This is true. We
made Kyle Pitts look like a god.
Oh my god.
Jesus, man. We just
Chad, I swear one day we'll have someone on this show that's a fan of a winning team. Till that, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna start recording and we're gonna get underway.
Sounds good.
Oh no.
What is up, everyone? And what?
Yeah, okay, can I lead? Can I lead?
Wait.
I got breaking news. I got breaking news. Breaking news coming out of Barry Jackson. Houston Chronicle reports the Dolphins and Texans have agreed to the trade for Desean Watson.
Oh my!
Well, I gotta wait and see if Adam Schefter's checking with the Texans that it's okay for him to tweet it.
But Dolphins, here's the
Is this okay with you? Does this look good to you?
I'm so sorry for messing around the show. The caveat is, but Dolphin wants their legal team his legal issues resolved before consuming the deal. Chronicle suggests Ross, the owner, Stephen Ross, wants clarity from Goodell on the length of the potential suspension. Good luck with that. But that is the breaking news coming out of Houston. And I'll talk more when we talk about it. Great. We just gave away the world.
Okay. So that's a great way to start the show. We'll see if that's actually true. Again, we got to wait and see if Adam Schefter's checking with the McNair family if he can tweet it out. That being said, welcome to week 8 of the regular season. My name is Nell, and as always, we're joined by BigAntsGaming, aka Anthony, and Nathanias, aka Nate. Welcome back, gentlemen. Week 8. So that just means that week 7 just happened, and let's be honest, it was not kind to any of us.
No. I don't have a quarterback anymore, so I'm really glad to be making some plans to do other stuff with my Sundays, because I don't know about y'all, but I have a strange feeling Mike White may not be the future of the New York Jets franchise.
It's okay. We apparently didn't have one to begin with.
Oh. I really mean it when I say we did want to see Sam succeed, because honestly, I think he could have been good without Gase. But
you remember
that was a rough game.
You remember a few weeks ago how awesome it was with news like Sam Darnold leads the league in rushing touchdowns. Now it's Sam Darnold intentionally grounds the ball in the end zone and commits a safety.
I don't have anything for that one.
Who was the quarterback that threw it away on 4th down this Sunday? It was somebody brilliant. He scrambled out the pocket on 4th down and threw it away. I want to say it was somebody from the 49ers, but
it probably was Jimmy G. I probably was. I started him on my fantasy team. It's a bad week when I got to start Jimmy G in fantasy football. I had 7.8 points. It was great. He was the lowest scoring player on my team, and he was my quarterback.
It's okay. I have yet another amazing segment of how did I find a way to lose my fantasy game this week?
I can't wait to hear it. But let's hop into the most important news of fantasy this week. Your boy Nelstar15 is still undefeated in the Road Drop Sports Fantasy League.
Nice.
At this point, they're reluctant to tweet out that I'm still winning. It was just, I don't know how I pulled it off. I was down like 72-81 going into last night's game, and then Alvin Kamara was like, yo, you need help? All right, I got you. I had to start Jimmy Garoppolo. Mageddon hit me hard. You know, Josh Allen.
I don't feel bad for you because you're undefeated. I do not.
Why? How'd your week go, Anthony?
I deleted my I was trying to delete my fantasy football team, so apparently you can't do that. So
I'm sorry.
it is a I think I'm 1-6.
Okay.
I am in hard last place. I'm pretty sure they're trying to eliminate me from the playoffs already.
I think I'm already guaranteed out at this point. I'm ready to quit all my leagues.
You know, if they're fantasy bowling, I'm all about that.
I mean, fair. I mean, but okay, so I really want to be honest about this. So I've on this team, I have Baker Mayfield and I have Josh Allen. Like I thought I was set for the season, right? Like Baker Mayfield come in, put up 13 to 15 points in Josh Allen's bye week, and then go back to Josh Allen for the rest of the season. Well, now Baker Mayfield's sitting on my IR. Somebody picked up Sam Darnold before I could, which I'm glad because he only had 5 points. But then when I say that Jimmy Garoppolo, besides defense special teams, was the lowest scoring player on my team, I mean it. TJ Hawkinson from the Detroit Lions scored more points than Jimmy Garoppolo. It was a weird week in fantasy. But speaking of weird weeks, I mean, by Mageddon, a lot of people found ways to either skirt out wins or lose by a mile with the likes of Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Dalvin Cook, Zeke, Austin Eckler, James Robinson, Mike Williams, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and Emmanuel Sanders, all on a bye last week. Doesn't sound like you guys did too good. We're gonna save Nate's how I lost this week to close out fantasy because that's like some of the best stories that we got.
Yeah, it's always a good story. It's always a good story.
Great story. But we had some top players and not names that you really expected to hear. AJ Brown, the Tennessee Titans, with 8 catches for 133 yards and a touchdown. Is AJ back? What do we think?
Oh, he's back for sure. He looked great, absolutely burying me because sadly I had matched up against him. AJ Green did not quite give me the same return.
I feel so terrible for you.
I'm like, man, Lamar looked good this week. You know, they didn't win, but whatever. He had Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. No, they had yes. Well, AJ Brown, he's gonna put me 6 feet under. GG.
But AJ Brown, he's rostered in 99% of leagues, and I'm pretty sure that's across the board on platform. If you have him now, because everybody's been sitting him lately. I don't know. Listen, I'm starting him if I got him. I'm sitting Julio because Julio is just taking a backseat at this point to anything anyone else on that offense is doing.
It just depends on what type of game you're going to get from Ryan Tannehill. So this is the good game. You know, he completed 21 to 27 of his passes, 270 in the touchdown, and he did the work. Derrick Henry didn't do that much. He did throw a touchdown pass, which was he has a better quarterback rating than Mahomes did for the week. So it just depends on Tannehill, and that's how it's going to go. So it all depends on how that's going to be.
Okay. Got it. I mean, you're not going to be able to pick him up. Let's just be honest. But if you're making a playoff run and you need a receiver, might be worth looking at a trade. If you're in a dynasty league, maybe think about like a low-end trade for him. But then, you know, hey, Nate mentioned it. Lamar Jackson had a good game. But alongside Lamar Jackson, Rashad Bateman, rookie, second game that he's played, threw up 3 receptions and 80 yards, and he's available 70% of leagues. You just going to stash him? You starting him? Listen, here's the deal with rookies. And I think we've talked about this before. Unless you're a running back or you're Jamar Chase, I'm not keen to start you right now. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's like it just goes so fast from getting something to getting what feels like nothing, and I don't really know that outside of Jamar Chase, who obviously, you know, I don't worry, I was also against him, so believe me when I tell you, did a really, really fantastic job this past weekend, and the Bengals are all of a sudden everybody's got them pinned as contenders now, but yeah, I find myself hard pressed to disagree with you on that one.
That's fair. It'd be interesting to see. But then we got old reliable back. guy who kind of held down the tight end spot for a while there. Zach Ertz looks like he's back on track, and now that he's in Arizona, looks like Kyler Murray's got one of his new favorite targets. Finished the game with 3 receptions, 66 yards, and 1 TD. Is Zach Ertz back to form? I mean, he's still available in like half the leagues across all platforms.
I mean, he went from playing with the Eagles to playing with number one team in the league. So he's always been a solid tight end. He's going to fit well in that system. It's a new weapon for Kyler. So I mean, it's just overkill at this point. But yeah, I do like this pickup. I think going forward, he should start every week.
Cool.
Yeah. I always felt like, especially with the way the Eagles season has gone, it just seems like, that whole org's in a little bit of a rough spot, and I haven't really want to blame Ertz. He seems, and as soon as he gets with a good team around him, immediately gets the production going back. That's what my expectations were.
Yeah, I mean, and let's be honest, like Cliff Kingsbury's offense revolves around the check down, around the check down. So Kyler's going to be trying to go deep to somebody half the time, but if he can't, Ertz or literally anyone else is right there waiting to take that 5-yard slant. So hopefully Ertz comes back. Really excited to see what he does in Arizona, though. Not excited to see what he does in Arizona against Carolina in 3 weeks when I'm at the game. But moving on, we had a bunch of disappointments. And a lot of people, I'm talking first round or high round picks that aren't doing so hot lately. Or, I mean, some have been doing hot, but like Patrick Mahomes, let's just talk about it. He's hurt. He's got at least one interception in 6 games in a row. That's all but one game this season. If you have Mahomes, are you, because I feel like we say, are you worried with the Chiefs every week? But at this point in fantasy football, are you starting another quarterback if you have Mahomes?
There can't be a harder question to answer about fantasy football than that.
I know. That's why I asked it.
I feel like with Mahomes and fantasy, you got to play him every week. You got to live and die by him. Yeah. He's one of those players you just, the team is not going to be good, but hopefully he can throw for 400 or 500, get you 4 touchdowns, and then hopefully you can win.
We'll see. Another first round pick in many leagues, Christian McCaffrey. Let's be honest, he's available to come back from the IR this season or next week. But I mean, all signs are pointing to Carolina not doing so hot the rest of this season. And that means all signs are pointing towards Matt Rule and Joe Brady not risking McCaffrey's health, especially since Chuba Hubbard's doing so good in McCaffrey's stead. I think at this point, I'll be honest with everyone that's watching as a Panthers fan that's paying attention. I don't know if I would trade McCaffrey, but if you have an IR spot, throw him in that IR spot. Or if you really need that roster spot, this might be a chance for you to start looking at someone else. I think McCaffrey's probably done for the season.
I hope not. This is my number 1 pick in fantasy. That's why I'm 1-6. I can't. No. Come back. Play him. I need you back, McCaffrey. I need you. I can still make a run. Still can.
I just don't know. If you had McCaffrey and you didn't pick up Chuba Hubbard, you were screwed at this point. Because Chuba Hubbard's been putting up some numbers, and he looks great. But I don't think Carolina really risks McCaffrey. And he'll probably never be a first-round draft pick again in fantasy football. But talking about another running back that hasn't done their part this season compared to what everyone thought they were, Josh Jacobs. Okay, so one, he got hurt. Had 6 carries, like 33 yards, got hurt. And then whenever he gets hurt, Kenyon Drake's like, oh, by the way, remember whenever I was a top running back in the league? Yeah, let me show you how to do that again. And so if you were Josh Jacobs' owner, are you worried now that Kenyon Drake kind of popped out of nowhere?
Kenyon Drake is just, I mean, he's so hit or miss, right? He goes from being on a team where he seems completely useless. Like, I remember when he was on the Fins, everybody's making fun of him for dropping the pass on the 2-point conversion, saying this guy's a waste of a roster spot. Then he gets traded. All of a sudden, he's blowing it up. I don't know. There's like too many question marks around him. He's one of those players that I'm scared. I guess with how thin the running backs are this year, especially in fantasy, I don't hate the idea of taking a chance on him. But it has to be recognized that, like, if you put him in and he has a big week, you might want to bench him next week because very unlikely he's going to do that 2 times in a row.
What do you think, Ant?
I keep Josh Jacobs. I think he's still got a touchdown, and he's still a big part of the offense. I just don't believe in Kenyon Drake. I don't.
That's fair. But I'm gonna play the villain that apparently I am in fantasy football this season, and remind everyone that these 2 yahoos told me to not start Cordarrelle Patterson, and who has now you, both of y'all.
He's burned me before. That's all I have to say. I would have told you to start Josh Jacobs too. You know why? Because I started Josh Jacobs and I lost. That's right. I had him too.
Oh,
What was my magical roster I lost with? Well, all the good players.
If you're asking me and you're in a deep league, pick up Kenyon Drake and start him. That's what I'm saying. Listen, Kenyon Drake has proved that whenever he's with a good quarterback and a good offensive line, he can work wonders across the field. And frankly, I'm the only one with a winning record in fantasy of these 3, so I had to get a dig.
All right.
I'm starting Kenyon Drake, but hey, that's me. And then last but not least, let's talk about it. Odell Beckham Jr. came back from injury. Listen, Stefanski's saying that he's in the game plan, but it doesn't look like Cleveland wants Odell Beckham Jr. on that field.
No, I say, like, you need to trade him in real life. I'll keep him in fantasy because he needs to get traded out of Cleveland. It's not working.
Yeah,
it's not. They're trying to force it to him. Baker's hurt. That rotator cuff injury is going to be lingering the whole season. Tore labrum. Sorry. Yeah. Hold on to OBJ because he's probably going to end up going to Arizona or Kansas City. You know what? Matter of fact, Tampa Bay. He's going to end up in Tampa Bay for some reason. There it is.
Another clip from let's just go ahead and clip that up. Yeah, Tampa Bay is just so good. It's like watching a Madden team.
Yeah, exactly. We said this last week, but that hasn't changed.
I agree with that. I think what do you think, Nate? If you got Odell Beckham, you hold on to him. He's too good to not hold on to.
Like if you're gonna get rid of him, there has to be some sort of opportunity, right? Like it needs to be. You wait for the iron to strike, but we're pretty much at the trade deadline too, aren't we? So I also don't know that there's a magical answer for that either.
Yeah, we're a week away from the trade deadline. Trade deadline is next Tuesday, where OBJ will be playing for Kansas City or Tampa Bay.
If they can make it happen and they get a piece worth it, sure. I mean, Kansas City's not trading for receivers though. They need some offensive linemen.
It's true.
They need a lot.
And then a lot of offensive linemen, in my opinion.
It's not enough going around the league. It's not. People are. I don't know what's going on with offensive linemen this season. It's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, there's not a lot of people that need receivers either. Let's be honest. Raiders are just like, hey, Willie Snead, bye. 4 hours ago, they're like, by the way, you're cut. So I mean, hey, what if OBJ ends up in Vegas? I almost called him Oakland for the 470th time this season. They're always gonna be Oakland. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But let's get into it. Nate, how did you lose this week?
It's truly remarkable. It's truly remarkable. I was just checking because you mentioned Ertz being available in 50% of leagues. Don't worry, he's not in mine. All right. I thought I had a good matchup. I liked the way that I was set up. You know, I had Lamar Jackson, I got Derrick Henry, I got Josh Jacobs, and well, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. Some of these guys just it's just ridiculous that we're in that place. I was up against Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, and AJ Brown. So no matter how good you think any of these players can ever do, somehow these are the teams that I'm up against. And it's like, okay, well, who goes up against Lamar then that keeps it that close, gives them that big of a lead? Tom Brady. So there you go. You would think that this roster could have beaten any of the other teams if this much talent was on my opponent this week, but no, here I am, 1-6, loving life, loving it. I'm loving it.
So you mentioned Cooper Kupp, so I want to talk about this. I'm in a fantasy league with some other video game industry people, and it's hilarious. And we're in a Discord call together, hanging out during our draft and all that jazz. Because like half of us live Central Time Zone, the other half live in Seattle. Like, it's either Seattle or not. And we get to like, I don't even know what round it was. I can't remember. We get to like maybe the 4th or 5th round. And our buddy Chris is like, who should I draft here? I was like, yeah, grab Cooper. I mean, he's going to be a good receiver. Make sure you grab Cooper. Like, you don't have a receiver yet. At this point, like, I already had a couple receivers on my team, and I'm already stacked. I got Joe Mixon and Dalvin Cook. I'm like, I'm fine, all right? This idiot drafts Amari Cooper, the pick before me. So thanks for drafting the wrong Cooper, because that's who's riding Cooper Kupp all the way to the playoffs this season. I was just like, all right.
This is your year for fantasy. Go ahead.
He's got a mass. He's loving life.
Oh, yeah. I haven't done this good since I worked in sports.
I'm cheering for you, man. I'm cheering for you.
Yeah, last time I did this good, I drafted Jimmy Clausen in the 6th round.
The dude from Notre Dame?
Yeah, remember whenever Carolina drafted him whenever we worked together? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. But then I ended up having someone else. We were fine. We were fine. Don't worry about it. Anywho, week 7 happened. And there's some cool stories to talk about. Let's talk about the fact that the Bengals are first in their division after absolutely trouncing the Baltimore Ravens. I'm all in on the Bengals, and I'd also like to point out, we're going to recap this later. I'm the only one that picked Cincinnati to win last week, whenever that was one of our games of the week. Just want to...
I don't recall that.
Yeah, I have it. I actually have
I'm sorry, I don't recall. I think that's the bulletproof answer, right? As long as I just say that over and over, I can never be held accountable. I don't recall.
I believe Nelstar15 wrote, Cincy surging while Lamar had a pretty bad game. And everyone's like, nah, Lamar's going to be fine.
You said that last week?
Yep.
Their proof?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, this is what happens when you can block and you give Joe Burrow a little bit of time to breathe. He's really good. He was really good last year until the injury, but I think that's why his name just didn't get put up there enough with that, because it was brutal. But he's absolute stud this season.
Dude,
he has a Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I mean, not even that.
Disgustingly good.
He's got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Like, he's got 3 studs of receiver, and then Uzama running in tight end, and then he's got Perrine, who can catch the ball as a running back. Like, he only needs to throw the ball to 5 different people, and he's throwing for 400 yards. That's what's wild about this Cincy team, and I think a lot of people overlooked how much talent they have on offense outside of Joey B. Because, like, even though Joe Mixon only put up 12 carries for 59, or he only got 12 carries for 59 yards, Joe Burrow was just slaying out Jamar Chase. Like, we'll talk about it, right? Like, 8 catches for 201 yards.
That guy is good. And this is the right season, because you look at their division is struggling quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the year that not Carolina.
We're bad. We'll get to that.
Cincinnati can sneak in the playoffs and make some noise. This is really exciting. This is not the Steelers, the Ravens. No, this is cool. I like Joey B too. That man, he can throw.
Well, let's talk about that, right? Like, they're in a division with a beat the heck up Cleveland that, if they were healthy, would probably be leading the division. A Ravens team that's on their 75th iteration of their offensive line and their 123rd different running back on the season. And then you got the Pittsburgh Steelers with a baked potato at quarterback. So it's like, is there truly anyone in their division that can stop Cincinnati right now? I think they kind of just proved that there isn't. I don't know. I think Cincinnati easily takes this division.
Yeah,
they can, but it's just let's see later on in the year they haven't been in this situation, so let's see how they are. The veteran leadership needs to come in for Cincinnati, especially when it gets later in the season and that fatigue kicks in.
It's all about the injuries at this point. Pittsburgh's old. Baltimore's a bit beat up. The Browns are really beat up. The Bengals have good players that are playing healthy and actually getting it to work. And I don't know that there needs to be any secret sauce there. It's just been a brutal year in general as far as the injuries go, and the Bengals they're just surviving through it.
Yeah, and I mean, but the Ravens looked just atrocious. I mean, again, we talked about this last week. Lamar Jackson can't be your leading rusher every week, especially whenever he's throwing for less than 50% in the pocket, right? Like,
yeah, correct.
Well, they're on their 8th string though, basically at this point.
Yeah. But I mean, they have Devontae Freeman, Le'Veon Bell, and Latavius Murray all on their team. Like,
it's not
if this was
2013.
2017, I'm like, if this was 2017, I'm thinking, hell yeah, but it's not. That's like saying, oh, the Jets had Frank Gore last year. Okay, yeah. You've got Frank Gore 2 years past his expiration date. If this is 2010, then it's a whole different conversation.
Hey, we'll see. I got Cincy taking this division, and probably pretty easily. I don't see the Ravens are. I mean, they're not beat up. Their offensive line's kind of hurt, but without a running game, it's
well, the running backs are the people that got hurt, and that's where they're missing the most. Yeah. So that's at least where I'm coming from.
Speaking of running games, though, Tennessee taking down the Kansas City Chiefs, and it was a mix of Patrick Mahomes playing just not like Patrick Mahomes. Also, I didn't know Chad Henne was still in the league.
Oh, yeah. He's a backup for Mahomes. Yeah.
How old is he now? Like 39, 40?
Probably.
Didn't he come in the same year around like Tom Brady? I don't know. He old. But anywho, Derrick Henry is just stupid good right now. I mean, he gonna again carry this team like he did last year, and I mean, obviously Tennessee is not in that great a division, so the only people that are going to compete with them are the Colts. But I mean, we can talk about how bad Kansas City's playing, but let's talk about how good Tennessee's playing.
This is what we expected. Tennessee is rolling right now. Offensive line is beefy. Derrick Henry is a monster, and the weakness of the Chiefs is run defense. Best run game in the league right now. They're scary, and they're scary because the formula they play is they're gonna like pound you first, second, third, and fourth quarter, and just sweep you away. So this is a scary team.
And you think about it, they're not throwing the ball that much because you don't have to. They're running the ball 35 times. They ran the ball 35 times. They threw it 28. Now, let's also be honest. One of those passes was Derrick Henry completing a touchdown pass. But I don't know, Nate. At a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are we about the Chiefs? Because we can talk about Derrick Henry and the ground and pound Tennessee Titans, but the Chiefs look bad.
Yeah, I don't even have words for it. Every week, I keep trying to think of some new excuse. Like, I watch the game, like, okay, Mahomes is playing some hero ball again, and for some reason, it's just like, where is the rest of this team that put them in the position where they were at the end of last year? I thought it was the offensive line, and I still think that they need a huge revamp over there. There's not enough starting offensive linemen in period in the NFL. It seems defensive lines are just way better across the board, but then you look at their defense and you ask yourself, well, if these guys were on the O-line, I don't think they'd be too good either because they couldn't do anything to stop them. And yeah, I don't know. At this point, if you're playing against the Chiefs, you basically, if you're a linebacker or a defensive back, you just lock eyes with Mahomes and wait to see where he's gonna throw, and just kind of whole team just plays a spy waiting for him to try and do something, and then you just shut it down.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Kansas City, probably a lost season, if I'm going to say so myself, but not a lost season, is the all Madden Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
It
just doesn't. It just they have not lost a step. They have not caught the injury bug. They still have that.
No, they
smug,
have. Their entire secondary's hurt.
It doesn't matter though.
That didn't
That-
stop them
their
from
whole
picking off Justin
team.
Fields 3 times.
Like they have an all-pro team. I said
They have
this
too many
last
good
week.
players. They're not in a position where losing 2 or 3 key players costs them because their whole entire team is made up of key players.
Exactly. Like it's just not like I want to see their budget. How do they get all those players under the salary cap and it's fine? Like why?
That's what they took those cuts
You didn't hear
for.
about the Tampa
right?
Bay luxury tax? They play on like MLB right now. They sign whoever they want. Oh, they went over. You got to sign an extra tax.
I just never seen so many like people who want to be for the team and not the money. So many people, like Nate said, like took cuts.
Yeah.
This is unheard of. I hate it. Hate it.
Yeah.
Hey, but I will say this: Tom Brady, 600 touchdowns. Congrats to Tom Brady to be the first to do it. I still hate you. Still hate you. I remember Super Bowl 03.
Did you hear about that too? I think it was
Mike
it
Evans
Evans
gave
or
the ball.
Godwin? He gave the ball away and then the
Yeah.
guy just gave it back. They didn't even give him anything for it. I'm like, damn.
But now they did.
They
So,
gave him a Bitcoin.
Did they? Is that what they ended up
they
compensating
gave
him
him.
with?
What was? Hold on, I'm gonna pull this up.
I didn't hear about them making it right. All I saw was yesterday everybody being like, I can't believe he gave the ball back for nothing.
So they got $1,000 worth of like
Merch.
credit for the merchandise store. He got autograph like jerseys and
Okay.
like balls
Okay,
and
that's pretty
everything.
dope.
And
Pretty
then Brady gave him a damn Bitcoin.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. That was totally worth it. Good
Yeah.
job. Good job, sir.
Coin.
You help preserve sports history. I'm glad. You know what? I'm just glad that actually that loops back into what we were just talking about, Anthony. I'm very happy that this team is playing for the team
Yeah.
and not for the money, and they even respect the fans enough to be like, look, man,
Yeah.
thank you for giving us that ball. We'd love to make your day in exchange.
Yeah,
That's super heartwarming.
Yeah, the whole package was 2 signed jerseys plus a helmet from Tom Brady, a signed Mike Evans jersey plus the cleats he wore in that game, so those 3 touchdown cleats, $1,000 gift card to the Buccaneers team store, season tickets for the rest of 2021 and all of 2022, and then Tom Brady threw in a full Bitcoin for him,
Okay,
which
yeah,
is
that's
roughly
wild.
valued at about 62 grand right now.
Nice.
It's absolutely insane. Hey, but that's cool. That's cool. Hey, like being a little selfless, giving up Tom Brady's 600 touchdown ball and getting all that in return. And he even said, like, hey, this is cool. What was dope is the dude was recording the whole thing when Mike Evans handed him the ball. Mike Evans didn't know what was going on. But, anywho, a team that also looks like an all Madden team is in the middle of the desert in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. The Cardinals rolling to 7-0, the last undefeated team in the league. At this point, I don't know who can beat Arizona, besides if they went up against Tampa Bay.
That's all you need because they're in the same division. Like it sucks because these are the 2 best teams, and we're not gonna see both of them in the Super Bowl
Yep.
because it's not gonna be unfortunate. And I still would pick Tampa Bay easily over Arizona because as long as you have Brady, anything is possible, and you're gonna win.
Yeah. It's wild that Arizona's good. Now, okay, let's be honest. They played against Houston, right? But, I mean, another 250-yard, 3-touchdown game for Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray playing the game of his life, or playing the season of his life. Running game looks good. Had 4 receivers with over 50 yards, 3 of those with touchdowns. It's just like everything is finally clicking now that they got Cliff Kingsbury away from recruiting, and Cliff Kingsbury can do whatever the heck he wants with an NFL roster.
Yeah, no, they've got it. They've got it figured out. They're looking so good. People keep doubting them. They're the only team I'm willing to just constantly bet on, and they don't lose. So I don't know. They play with a lot of spirit. They've got the talent, and they definitely don't have any confidence issues.
Yeah, and Arizona, if you're listening in a couple weeks, can you go easy on the Panthers because I'll be there? Thank you. Thank you.
If you're listening, I'll just throw this in there. I would love a Kyler Murray jersey. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, me too.
I love watching this guy play. Thank you for making your team fun to watch. Sincerely, everyone that's not a fan.
I mean, they want Kyler Murray gear. Can I get some Cliff Kingsbury gear? Reclam Tech. I'm an alumni.
Oh.
Let's go.
Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Oh.
Another team that's picking up steam, the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, granted, Atlanta hasn't exactly played the best teams in the league over their course of getting back to 500. But coming up big with a win over Miami. Last-second field goal puts them up ahead. Matt Ryan looking like Matt Ryan used to look. Little bit of Matty Ice throwback. Cordarrelle Patterson is, I guess he's a running back now. I get to play him at receiver in fantasy, which is great because he still lines up as receiver, and that's what he's listed as. But coming up in a big way, even whenever they signed Mike Davis in the offseason. But Atlanta back to 500, going up next week against a Carolina Panthers. I mean, they're going to be above 500 next week, and it looks like they might be able to compete for a wild card spot in the NFC. It looks like it's clicking because Kyle Pitts is a god. Anthony, you watched that game. How'd it look?
My TV went out. I have nothing. He's good. Okay, he's good. All right.
7 catches for 163 yards.
Yep, that's it. That's he's. It's aggravating. I'm gonna shift over to the Dolphins real quick. Tua played, and it's crazy. Tua played a really good game. 32 out of 40, 291, 4 touchdowns. But his 2 interceptions, dear God, they're worse than Eli's interceptions from back in the day. Like it's hurtful. Our defense, we're just getting gashed by Kyle Pitts the whole game, and Cordarrelle Patterson was running around. I don't know. I'm done with football.
No, you're not. You're wearing a Miami Dolphins shirt right now.
I love them. I love my team. I'll never leave them. But
you can't be disappointed in them.
Yeah.
I know that. Hey, look, I think we can all say right now that none of us are super jonesed about the way that things have been playing out. I think you've maybe got a little bit better vibes going for you now, especially since obviously your best player hasn't been playing the last couple of weeks too. But if anything, I don't think that this says too much about the Falcons, mostly because it's the Finns and it's the Jets, 2 teams that, especially the Jets, they don't even have an offense at this point. If you can literally just play defense and be like, okay, our offense will consume 70% of game time. Defense, you just literally be there and you don't have to do any work and we'll win this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's hard to lose those no matter how bad you are. So I'm not sure the Falcons have proven themselves to me just yet.
Agreed.
I mean, okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm a Cliff Kingsbury fan. Arizona's doing great. I'm happy.
They are doing great, and the Cardinals are great. And
Carolina Panthers, who are they? I don't know them. They don't go
I would
here.
have reached to get that jersey myself if I wasn't marrying into a Seahawks family. So
Oh God.
That's a winning team.
Yeah, speaking of the Seahawks, let's talk about this. Speaking of the Seahawks, the Saints barely beat Seattle, and I don't care what's about to come out of Anthony's mouth. This win is solely on the back of Alvin Kamara's athleticism and the fact that he's probably one of the better players in the entire league.
yeah, but didn't their quarterback not throw an interception at all that whole game? I can't remember. Can someone tell me?
I do.
Did the Saints throw a pick that game? Because I feel like someone was throwing shade at the quarterback, and it's on the tip of my tongue.
Oh my God. He knows. You know.
I watched that game.
You can't say anything. Jameis did not
Barely
turn
completed
the ball
50% of
over.
barely completed 50% of his passes.
You find that did he throw a pick?
Still barely above 200 yards.
And he ran for 40. Let's not forget he ran for 40.
Alvin Kamara won this game for them.
He did not. How did Alvin Kamara get the ball?
Sir. Alvin Kamara gets the ball on a dink and duck that's a 3-yard pass and takes off. You can't tell me that's Jameis Winston.
Who threw the dinky dunk?
3 yards. 3 yards.
I can tell you somebody who missed a 3-yard dink and dunk, Zack Wilson. Apparently, not every quarterback can make those throws. So, got to give the credit where it's due.
And Jameis Winston looked lost half the game. He didn't know what was going on. Did you see the faces he was making on the sideline? He didn't know where he was.
That's such a great way of describing it. He was lost in the woods. He didn't know where he was going. But you know what ended up?
But you know what he
just
did know?
ended up finding
He's
a
like,
stump in the middle of the forest that had a big W on it.
He's like, hey, Alvin,
Thank
take
you.
this and go. No.
Okay.
No, you can't
His
convince me
team-
that Jameis won this game. Alvin Kamara did.
Yes, I
Alvin
can.
Kamara
Easy.
definitely put the team on his back, but Jameis did not ruin it or throw it away.
He did not ruin it, but he did not win it.
Sometimes that's all you need a quarterback to do.
Jameis throw the ball away. We seen Jameis throw 4 picks. We watched Jameis throw a pick 6 for his 30th interception for his last game with Tampa Bay. We seen the worst in Jameis. Right now, we're seeing Jameis playing smart football. He is
Very
getting their
excited.
teams to victory.
Is this
He's
thing
smart.
on? Is this thing on? He beat Geno Smith. It's not that big of a deal.
I'm very excited for the end of the year when we all end up being Saints fans. Can we all, if we do a Christmas episode, can we all just wear Saints
I will never be a
jerseys?
Saints fan. Jameis Winston was carried in this win.
I am going to say this
Jameis Winston
again.
was carrying this win. Now let's talk about the Packers, who after week 1 look like they can't be beat.
Just like Jameis. Yeah, they look great. So they look absolutely great. I was going to get that in.
I'm having a good time on this show. I apologize. I may have missed the memo about not having fun, but I'm enjoying this discussion.
This is so much fun. About the Packers, I was that game was on TV down here because somehow the Dolphins disappeared. It's really so my favorite quarterback to watch is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't care. And that's what makes it fun for me to watch. You just see he has a nonchalant attitude. He knows he's that guy. And he knows, like, after the game that he lost the first game, he said, relax. It's one game. What happens? He has won every single one of his games. And he makes it look easy. Now, the game coming up Thursday, I don't know if we're going to be talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do it by himself. He's gonna have to pull a Jameis and just bring the team on his back because it's going to be crazy because he's down the top 2 receivers.
On a scale of 1 to 10, are you worried that Green and let's take Aaron Rodgers? The offense for Green Bay, passing offense is great. Their run game leaves a lot to be desired. 15 rushes for 57 yards, no touchdowns. That's cool. The Green Bay Packers let Taylor Heineke run 10 times for 95 yards. And that was complemented by Antonio Gibson getting 51, by Carter getting 27, and by McKissick getting another 22. 195 yards given up to a not so great Washington football team. If I'm Green Bay, I am terrified of what Kyler Murray and James Conner are about to do to my defense.
I mean, it sucks because they're not going to be at full strength. This is a quick turnaround. And I still think Aaron Rodgers is going to look amazing in this game. I think he's just that guy. I won't be surprised if Green Bay takes this. Wouldn't be surprised at all.
Okay. Bold strategy cut. Let's see if it plays off.
Yeah.
With that being said, we'll quickly run through the next 2 games that are on our list. New England walks over the New York Jets. I mean, was this the win that Mac Jones needed? Now, okay, I get it. It's the Jets, and no disrespect to Nate, who's a Jets fan. Not exactly the best team in the league, but is this still is this a moral victory for Mac Jones as a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good win for him. I mean, the Jets obviously have not been a fantastic team, but if there's one thing they were kind of decent at going into this game, the stats at least supported the corners, especially the young corners had been playing really well. The red zone defense had been one of the top in the league, and they'd given up some of the fewest touchdowns in the red zone, even though they hadn't been winning by much. They haven't been scoring much. Excuse me. They hadn't been giving up as much points as other teams that had been scoring more. So this was one of the first games where it's not like they just lost. They got completely blown out. The wheels fell off the wagon. They didn't have CJ Mosley. That's the only big player that was missing defensively on the team. So I don't think just him can excuse the 40-point gap. That was everything they did went really well. But if I have to give a shout out, Damian Harris was unstoppable. That guy, almost every time he had the ball, almost every time Damian Harris got the ball against the Jets, went up for at least like 5-7 yards. Guy could not be stopped the whole game.
I mean, that's 2 back-to-back 100-yard games. One of them coming up against Dallas, right? Like in that overtime loss, he had 101 yards there. I mean, if you're talking about it, Damian Harris has only had 2 bad games this season. Whenever they played Tampa, he got demolished and had -4 yards. And then against New Orleans, he only had 14 yards. But, I mean, he wasn't getting a ton of carries. When they give Damian Harris double-digit carries, that team looks better than like they look solid. And I don't understand why they're not giving him the ball, or now they are, but why they even stopped ever. Like, this team should rely on Damian Harris, especially with a rookie quarterback. At least that's my thought. You know. Then on the Jets side of things, unfortunate to see Zack Wilson go down, but hey, I mean, one positive to come out of it, you now have a Super Bowl winning quarterback on your team.
That's true. It only took 6 weeks of our offense being the most limp in the entire NFL for our coach to think, okay, and that's only because for some reason we were only rostering 2 quarterbacks. That they said it today that they weren't even they're still planning to start Mike White, but they're like, well, we have to have in case he gets hurt. Which the afterthought given to the backup quarterback position is something that pretty much nobody on the Jets side of things has been happy about.
Okay, I hadn't even heard of Mike White until this Sunday.
I mean, James Morgan was like kind of the guy in front of him, and then the Panthers took him. So we're like, yeah, I guess because we don't care about backup quarterback, yeah, let's just let this practice squad guy let's just the whole team can just be on his back now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure. So y'all have fun with him. I'm sure it's going to go spectacularly. This just sounds
I'm going to be watching the Saints play for the next few weeks. Keep my eyes on Jameis. Watch 2020.
Yeah, I gotta believe
I will report back. I'll take some notes.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
He's still in the MVP race.
All right. And then the last disappointment of the week, Carolina taking on the New York Giants. And what everyone thought was Carolina going to right the ship was anything but. Sam Darnold did so good that he got benched for P.J. Walker, who was the hero of the XFL. So why don't you ask me how my week went? Sam Darnold, 16-25 with the pick. Got sacked 3 times. Threw the ball away in the end zone and gave the Giants a safety. P.J. Walker then went 3 for 14 in what was a spectacular outing from a backup quarterback. And Chuba Hubbard had 12 carries to 28 yards. Robbie Anderson dropped another 6 balls. Listen, there's nothing good to say about Carolina. We except for the fact that DJ Moore is probably a top 5 receiver in the league. There you
go. 3 for 14?
Yeah. He had a passer rating. Hey, if you combine P.J. Walker and Sam Bradford's QBR, they still didn't have a total of a 15.
You need Sam Bradford on your team.
Sam Darnold?
Like this is whoo, we did good this week. Our teams did great.
Listen, at this point, I'm over it. Like, can we for the first time in the past 14 years, can we take an offensive lineman in the first round, please? I will say this, Carolina, they got Brady Christensen, that left tackle that was out of BYU, who was like a stud for Zack Wilson at BYU. He kept Zack Wilson up. They let him finally start at left tackle, and he actually looked pretty darn good. So there's a positive. Sam Darnold didn't get murdered this week, which was very nice to see. So that's pretty much the end of the Week 7 recap. We had a few injuries. We'll as always, we'll go through these. Jabril Peppers for the Giants, who everyone had a lot of expectations for, coming down with a ruptured ACL and a high ankle sprain on the same play. Obviously takes him out for the rest of the season, but that could have long-term impacts on his career. So hopefully, who's he going to go to? Probably Dr. Andrews. Work his magic. So what he can do?
Dude, is money.
And then Zack Wilson, as we talked about, down with a knee injury. Nate, did they say how long they expect him to be out?
Yeah, it says a PCL strain, so they were saying at least 2 weeks, could be up to 4, depending on how things go. They were also saying it's not off the table that they might IR him because of the quick return option. But yeah, it didn't seem like anything fully tore or broke, but yeah, he took I mean 2 pretty bad no call hits in that game.
Yeah, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. I mean, maybe they put him on the IR whenever Joe Flacco comes in and just absolutely turns the team around and you guys head to the Super Bowl.
Well, we don't know how to run it. I don't think our offensive coordinator has any idea what he's doing. So, for what it's worth, I wish he could have been just put somewhere safe without having to get hurt. But at least he won't have to be here for the next few dumpster fire weeks while LaFleur gets his head out of his butt.
Fair. Then I actually did not plan for us to talk about the Panthers and the Jets in the injury report, but Panthers offensive or right guard John Miller going to the IR with an ankle injury. Carolina already decimated by injuries on the offensive line. Sam Darnold should probably start looking at a casket because he's going to die by the end of the season. But good news on our injury report. Tyrod Taylor is expected to return to practice this week after missing, the past 5 weeks of football. So that's good news. And then old Jerry Jeudy making a return as well. So we got some good news coming off the injury reports.
Nice.
Our
Always
top
good to hear about
storylines. Let's talk about it. Kansas City. Last week it was, is it time to be worried? And we said, if they lost, it is. And they lost. And Mahomes is hurt. If you're Kansas City, are you just going to sit back and let the season play out? Or are you buying heavy at the trade deadline? Like, are you trying to shop? Are you shopping right now for anything? Let's be honest. Mitchell Schwartz and Russell Okung, while not the best offensive linemen in the world, are still available. Mitchell Schwartz, obviously being a former Chief. Why not go after some of them?
You have to buy. You have to buy heavy. You need. But the thing is, the problem. I don't think enough pieces you can buy can help what's going on with that team. Mahomes is trying to do everything. I watched him. He fumbled the ball one time because he broke out of the pocket. He should have just slid. He tried to do 2 more moves and the ball came out. He's trying to do more than what he needs to. I don't know if you can buy multiple players at the deadline if you have enough pieces for it. They just need to take a step back.
Yeah.
Back to basics.
Yeah, go back to the drawing board. Let's see what happens. Speaking of teams trying to go back to the drawing board, Desean Watson getting a lot of talk here at the trade deadline. I'm going to be honest. I don't want him in Carolina. And this is on a personal level. You have a guy with 22 lawsuits against him, and you have an organization in Carolina that literally just went through a buyout process with their old owner for being a racist, misogynistic guy. What signal is that sending to literally everyone if you then 3 years later turn around and sign a guy or trade for a guy like Desean? Now, again, hasn't gone through due process. This country, you're innocent until proven guilty. But also at the same time, these are some serious allegations. I don't want him to show up in Carolina. I don't know about you Anthony, because you're also a Fins fan and y'all are at the top of it.
So it's a yes or no for me. And if it's a yes strictly off of football, and the reason, let me start with the yes. When have you ever seen a quarterback that is top 5 easily, they're not even in their prime yet, available in the market? these quarterbacks, because you're going to see Kyler Murray get more than Mahomes in a contract. You're going to see these young quarterbacks, they get signed up. You don't see this type of talent on the market. So it's a combo with the fact that this year's draft coming up is not the strongest. This is something that which it sounds like Tua is not in this trade package that is approved, that's agreed upon, you can literally stash Watson and whatever's going on, still have Tua, and then figure out something later on. Obviously, you don't want this type of thing in your organization, but if your job is on the line, which Brian Flores and Chris Greer, the GM, this is something that you have to take a gamble on. And do I want to see him in Miami? Obviously, I want to see Miami win. So yes, I think he will change our team drastically, but I got to see what goes on with the legal ramifications of what's going on with him. So I'm torn right now.
Yep. Nate, you don't have a dog in the fight, but any thoughts on it?
I would say this much as a fan of a team that's kind of sucked for a really long time. I saw at some point on a personal level as a fan, the last thing that I would ever want to do is have my team basically say that they think winning is more important than being a good person. And with the way that all of that stuff's been going out, none of it sounds good. I don't want people to think about me as a fan of a team being able to look past that kind of thing. And yeah, it's a whole sad mess. But I can totally see why. I can see why obviously some people want their team to finally not suck. But are all those problems going to go away even if they do get through the litigation? It's still going to come up forever. It's never going away.
Yep.
I just want to make it clear. I don't agree at all what he did and all the allegations. We're just talking. What I was just talking about with football.
Yeah. I totally understand that.
And it's.
But if I could have had Desean Watson be the quarterback of the Jets and be like, yeah, we're going to go be playoff team next year. Like, obviously, I can't do anything about what the team's going to do. Would I be happy that my team's performing well? Sure. But is there still going to be some bittersweet thought in my mind that the only reason we have this guy is because he assaulted a bunch of women? No, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, agreed.
This wouldn't have happened if we would have drafted Justin Herbert. I swear we wouldn't be in this situation at all.
That's very true.
And this is why it makes me mad that we're about to give up 3 first-round picks and some more picks and maybe a player. We could have just drafted Herbert and we would have been chilling. I would have been happy. Wouldn't be talking about bye weeks.
Fair enough. I feel that.
We have 2 more things for our top headlines, which are related to college football, which I know we're NFL, but let's talk about it. Texas Tech just fired Matt Wells after 3 seasons. He was 14-17. And the reason I bring this up is because Texas Tech last coach that they fired is now 7-0 in the NFL. So with that being said, also the coach that they fired before that is now a U.S. senator. So I'd have to say, Tommy Tuberville. I have to say, and let's get some opinions. Is the success of Cliff Kingsbury the future of Matt Wells? Matt Wells about to be a surprise?
Hell no.
No, he's just that bad?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just had to bring up Texas Tech at some point. Then Carson Palmer's been talking a lot about this USC head coach gauntlet that's basically happening. Everybody's linked to it. Jeff Fisher's linked to it now. In case you're wondering, Jeff Fisher, Mr. 8-8 himself. Now, Mike Tomlin, though, was linked to it and has shut down every rumor about it. But is there a chance that Mike Tomlin leaves Pittsburgh for USC before Urban Meyer?
I don't know. Is he as stubborn as Big Ben at this point? Those guys are just gonna play until they get thrown out. I don't know. I don't know if that changes with him being a coach, but I feel like there's too much pride on the line.
Yeah, I don't see it at all.
Okay. All right. Well, those are the biggest headlines from this week in football. Quick rookie recap. Trevor Lawrence didn't suck this week, so that's a good thing to look forward to if you're a Jaguars fan, but also it comes along with the fact that he didn't play this week. So have fun this week where he sucks again because Urban Meyer's trash. Zack Wilson, we already talked about, got hurt. Wishing him a speedy recovery. We kind of talked about Mac Jones. He had a week that he needed. 24 of 36, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, again, is this Mac Jones just playing a kind of beat-up Jets defense, or is this Mac Jones finding his stride in Bill Belichick's offense? Or is the answer to that yes?
It was the Jets. But we saw flashes in games before. And I think the perfect storm was playing the Jets. So it's like putting everything together that you did the game before, then you play the Jets. No offense, Nate, but like this is your time to shine when you play a team like that.
Yeah, no, it's true. Look, I mean, the best star on defense is CJ Mosley, right? May was just coming off of an injury when he was getting back. So he was like, he got close to making some plays, but you could see he wasn't at 100% this last week. So you really can't have out of a more perfect storm. And also, again, I hate the fact that it's so easy to just mention this part, but when the Jets offense doesn't produce anything and that defense is on the field all game long, you know, you're Mac Jones. You're like, okay, well, you know, it's quick 3 and out. You know, you run the ball, you mix it up. Damian Harris is making your life easy. So there's no pressure on you at all. The Jets defense is completely, you know, they still have no idea what they're doing at all. And it just makes life easy. It's a great confidence building game for Mac Jones. I don't know that it means he's legit because, again, Jets are not competitive right now at all. But yeah, it was a great showing out of him, and you can really see what he can do to, I guess, at least manage a pretty easy game.
Cool. Jamar Chase, we talked about 8 catches, 201 yards, and a touchdown, easily looking like one of the better, if not the best pick, and this year's first round. I don't know if we have anyone else that's really comparing to him because he is his team's leader right now. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Jamar Chase as we move forward. But I mean, if I'm being honest, like Jamar Chase, like we knew this was going to happen. You're pairing him back up with his quarterback from college. Like they already have that tandem, right?
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
That man, it's a beautiful connection. I don't see anybody else competing with him for AFC Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't see it right now.
Yep. Fair. The only person that might be looking to take that from Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, is, first of all, about to break every rookie tight end record out there. And I mean every single one of them. Yards, touchdowns, catches, you name it. But he had 8 or 7 catches for 163 yards. Kyle Pitts, the real deal. He is a receiver in a tight end's body, and there is no doubting that.
Yeah, he's unreal. I mean, that's why I picked him up. He had a pretty slow start to the season, fantasy-wise. So, you know, just had to make sure that even though I did get him, I could still lose a bunch. But he's starting to get into that form. And at least with Matt Ryan, you don't have, like, weapons like Julio Jones anymore, or young Julio Jones for that matter. But he's doing what he can with the weapons he has. And you get a couple more guys out there to keep the eyes off of Pitts so that he's not a primary coverage target. And, yeah, no, I think he could feast next year.
Is it too early to put Kyle Pitts in the Travis Kelce, George Kittle conversation?
Yeah, because those guys are like cheats. Those guys are like cheat codes.
Yeah.
At least at their peaks. I don't know about this year, but at least in the last couple of years, they've been almost automatic.
Okay, then let's take this. Do we put him in the top 5 tight ends of the league? Can you name 5 tight ends that look better than him?
Probably not.
Hold on. I'm trying to think.
You have Kelce, you have Kittle, you have Gronkowski. Who else is better than Pitts right now?
Darren Waller.
Darren Waller. Maybe you could put Hawkinson in that conversation. But Hawkinson had a stretch of 3 games where he didn't do anything.
Ask me in 2 weeks, and I might say Ertz.
Okay, let's see.
Exactly.
Let's revisit this in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because Ertz is one of those guys I love picking up and completely losing out on, but he looks like he's immediately back to old form on the card. Right. So that makes it a little bit harder, I think.
We'll revisit in 2 weeks. I just put it on the Run Show. We're going to look at it in 2 weeks. The last rookie we have to look at, Michael Carter. We have a Jet on here, killing it. He had 11 carries for 37 yards and 8 catches for 67 yards. Wasn't exactly expected to put the weight of the team on his shoulders, but looked like he's showing up on offense for the Jets. And I mean, y'all have to be excited from what you're seeing from this running back out of the backfield.
Yeah. Well, this season, I one of the fun themes, at least, like, the Jets are the youngest team in the league. It's almost primarily people that are in their first or second year, and our veterans are guys like Quinnen Williams, who was drafted a year after Darnold. So like I don't I like a lot of the young talent on that team. And Michael Carter, he runs really hard. We haven't had a running back that bounces off of people pretty well for a very long time. Tevin Coleman hasn't really done that, and he's been hurt. So Carter's been getting a little bit more love, and he's looked really good. Just a little bit better than Michael Carter on our defense.
Yeah, there we go.
Who's also had a pretty good first year.
There's our rookie recap. Then our week 7, we went or last week we went over some games of the week. We'll run through these before we look at our look ahead. But we talked about Cleveland versus Denver. So we had Cleveland -3.5. Let's just say we had Ant and I both took Denver, which Denver covered. And then Ant took the under, which was at 42.5. And so Ant obviously won that one. LA Rams versus Detroit. None of us got right because it was the Rams -15 and the over and under was at 50, and they didn't hit either of those. But we all put LA. I guess Ant did win one thing. He said Matt Stafford wasn't going to throw for 500 yards. I guess Nate and I were wishful thinking on that one.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. You guys could, if you wanted to bait me every single week, you could even make up a fake line to be like, "Oh, there's no way that Derrick Henry rushes for 250, right?" And I'll be like, "You know what? Screw it. Let's go."
So what this is telling me is that Nate's a big fan of prop bets.
I don't know. I feel like life is too short to make all the safe plays.
I like that. Damn it, yeah. James MVP.
Hell yeah. No, shut up. Then we had Cincinnati versus Baltimore, which we kind of already talked about, but I was the only one that won this. Both of y'all picked Baltimore, so there's that. I picked Cincy, and Cincy trounced them, and the over was hit almost by Cincy alone. So there's that. We only have 2 games at this look ahead for this week, but probably the 2 biggest games of the season up to this point. You have Green Bay at Arizona this Thursday. Arguably 2 of the 3 best teams in the league right now. We're going to talk about the other one. It's Arizona -6.5, but let's talk about the fact that it opened up at Arizona -3.5, so you know who everyone's betting on. Arizona -6.5. The over-under line's at 50.5. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I think Anthony said it perfect earlier. I don't think Green Bay can beat Arizona. I don't think they have the run game to beat Arizona.
I am. Here's my thing. The pick, Green Bay is gonna win. Okay,
You said
Green
they
Bay's
weren't gonna win.
I didn't know. I did not. I said Green Bay is gonna pull the upset. So right now, write it down.
Okay.
Run the show. Green Bay winning, and I'm taking the over because it's 50.5.
Okay.
I'm taking the over. Aaron Rodgers, side note, 425, 4 touchdowns. Boom.
Oh my. Okay.
Wait till you hear the next game.
Oh my God. Jameis Winston 7 picks. Got it. Got it. What do you think, Nate? Arizona versus Green Bay. That's a tricky line. 6.5.
Dude, it's such a good game. This is the game that for all the people that don't have a whole lot to be excited about, you have to at the very least want to watch this one because Aaron Rodgers basically trolled everybody week 1. He's like, I'm going to play like crap and then just not address it and just dominate for the rest of the year. But Kyler Murray, the Cardinals, they've picked up some nice pieces along the way. I love watching Kyler Murray play. This game I'm super excited for, and I mean if I haven't come off with my incredible bias well enough, big eyes on Cards taking a fat dub this week.
Cool. Got it. And then, I mean, listen, Cliff Kingsbury's my homeboy. Act like I know him. And I'm just going to go ahead and take the over as well. I think it is going to be a shootout, but I think Arizona takes it by a touchdown or more. Easy. Kyler Murray's going to have 3 touchdowns in the air and one on the ground.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah, and then we got Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Now, here's what I'm going to open this up with. y'all, not everyone watches the NFC South as regularly as I do. And this is that weird division where nothing matters. You could be the best team in the league, and you can go play the worst team in the league, and they happen to both be in the NFC South. That worst team has a chance to win. Stats don't matter in the NFC South. Plus, it's also the Jameis Winston revenge game. That being said, Tampa Bay -5, which I think is really low. I think Tampa Bay, we'll get to my pick, and the over-under line at 50. Boys, what are we thinking here for probably game of the week?
Hey, Nate.
But also, let's remind everyone here that New Orleans lost to Carolina.
Well, I feel like. Okay. Well, I mean, do we have to give a serious answer? Are you gonna? You can go full Jameis, Anthony. We can have that.
Yeah.
The ultimate revenge. You know what? Actually, screw it. It's gonna be the Jameis revenge game. Okay. I'm calling. You're talking about the only weakness that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have right now, I believe, in your own words, is they've got a battered secondary. Well, thank God we have a guy that knows how to sling it. Okay, so this is going to be the only way they could possibly get through Tampa Bay. It's going to turn into an absolute blowout because their defense will completely fall apart against Brady Bunch. But it's going to be a shootout. I'm thinking maybe 47-44 in favor of the Saints. There you go.
How did I get paired up as a Panthers fan with two people who are willing to boost the ego of the Saints all season long?
No, I'm not a Saints guy. Just to be clear, I couldn't give less. If you want, the best solution to your problem is to just trade Jameis to somewhere else, and then we can still be fans of it. We can all be fans of him together.
No, give him Carolina. He got to be better than Sam Darnold.
There you go. Jameis to Carolina. We've officially gotten this far with the show, and that's got to be the best point we've reached all year.
All right, yeah.
Jameis to Carolina. I want it. I want to see it.
Anthony, just get it out of your system.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, I am picking the Saints. To win, but it's going to be the under, and the reason why it's going to be the under
because Jameis Winston can't throw above 200 yards that often.
Because the score is going to be 40-7. The Saints are going to blow out Tampa Bay. This is the game because Tom Brady, if you look at the last 4 seasons, always has a game that he looks human.
He's already had that game.
Sorry. No, this is gonna be crazy. He's gonna throw for like 450 yards, but he's gonna have 3 interceptions. A lot of those yards are gonna come at the end of the 4th quarter. Those are padded stats and everything. Jameis is going to have a modern, just a nice 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, put himself back into the top tier MVP race, and he's going to show everybody that he is the real deal in New Orleans.
Cool. So I don't know what planet you live on or what you've been smoking, but one I would like to visit and enjoy and what you've been smoking. But let's be honest here, Tampa Bay's too good. You can say whatever you want. Like, Tom Brady is playing better than he's ever played. Tampa Bay's secondary looked phenomenal last week. Now, granted, I probably would still take Justin Fields over Jameis Winston any day of the week. But I got Tampa Bay, and I'm taking the over. I do think it's going to be a little bit of a shootout, but I think by shootout, I mean Jameis is going to have a lot of 3-yard passes that Alvin Kamara takes for touchdowns. I'm going to put this squarely on Alvin Kamara's back. I think, here are my predictions. I know we're throwing some numbers out here, but I think Alvin Kamara has a 100 game, 100 yards receiving, 100 yards rushing against Tampa Bay, and I think Jameis Winston throws 3 picks.
I would love to wager you on this. Just a friendly one. Like, you know how they do Mountain Dew on Undisputed. Like, I feel like that you're disrespecting Jameis just because I am such a believer for Jameis, and I don't understand why. I don't. He is a solid quarterback with some great numbers this season.
Wait, why do we have to make this a friendly wager? Why don't we just put $20 on it?
Huh? You know what? Bet you're on. It's
All
a
right.
deal.
All right.
It is a deal.
All right. I got
What,
to.
what we betting? Hold on, time out.
Yeah, what are we betting here?
See, that's when you know I gamble too much. What are we betting on?
Are we
What
just
are
gonna
we
do
agreeing
straight up
on?
Tampa Bay versus New Orleans? Let's just go straight up.
Yes.
All right, I got Tampa Bay. Here we go. You heard it here, chat. Heard it here live. This is what you're missing whenever you don't watch this live. But speaking of, that does actually bring us to the end of this one. I can't wait to take Anthony's money. I'm super excited.
I cannot wait.
Oh man, I can't wait. I'm so excited. But that being said, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me as always. Another fun show. Also, ending it with some absolutely asinine news. Goodell has announced they're not releasing the findings of the Washington football team investigation, which goes counter intuitive to what they did to Carolina just 4 years ago. Great. Really, really glad that Goodell doesn't have a spine. Anywho, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Again, my name is Nell. I'm joined by Anthony as well as Nate. You can tune in every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, or just listen to us where you listen to your favorite podcast. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.